Professional Bowling Tour. Brought to you by the Gillette Safety Razor Company, makers of the 195 adjustable razor that adjusts instantly to your skin and beard, and Gillette Super Blue Blades that give unbelievable shaving comfort. By Bristol Myers, makers of Vitalis with V7. Vitalis keeps your hair neat all day without grease, prevents dryness too. And by Brunswick, the company that has made bowling America's favorite family game. Brunswick, the #1 name in bowling. From Northland Bowl in Jennings, Missouri, the PBA St. Louis Open. Hello again, ladies and gentlemen. This is Chris Schenkel here at the Northland Bowl in Jennings, Missouri, a northern suburb of the great city of St. Louis. Now, this is our 14th stop on the Professional Bowlers Association's exciting national tour, which features the world's greatest bowlers competing for over $500,000 in prize money. And every Saturday afternoon throughout the end of April, ABC, the #1 network for sports, will bring you the climactic semifinal and final rounds of these great PBA tournaments. And friends, don't forget, if a perfect 300 game is bowled, the ABC television network will give an additional $10,000. We'll be back with today's exciting tournament on Professional Bowlers Tour. St. Louis, bowling capital of America, home of many of the nation's top professional bowlers. And they have certainly put out their best here in this tournament at the Northland Bowl because the scores have been phenomenal. This is also the home of the man I've been traveling with now for 13 weeks, this being our 14th stop. I'm referring to Mr. Jack Buck. And Jack, I'd like to thank you and all the people in Missouri for their kind hospitality here. We really enjoyed it.
I know you have, Chris, and that's nothing unusual in this fine city of St. Louis. Thank you very much. And let's get over here to our brackets board and point out the 16 bowlers who remained after a couple of days' competition. These 16 headed into match play. And a lot of very familiar names are on this list. Harry Smith, Don Carter, Tom Hennessy, George Howard, Billy Welu, John Henry, Vince Lucci, Fred Lenning, Joe Joseph, Dick Hoover, Gene Kessler, Frank Angstead, Jim Schroeder, Marv Lowry, Jake Charter, and Carl Richard. Now we pick out a name right here, Harry Smith. He moved into the next round, and he defeated a bitter enemy of his, Tom Hennessy, who was our winner last week, by the way. So Harry Smith moved into the finals and drew as his opponent his teammate, Billy Welu. Billy Welu had bowled 621 here to defeat Vince Lucci, after earlier Welu had bowled 759 to advance to the next round. To pick out another name, Joe Joseph defeated Dick Hoover, and then Joe Joseph bowled 747 to take care of Gene Kessler, and Joe Joseph is one of our semifinalists here in the match today. His opponent, Jim Schroeder. Jim Schroeder defeated Jake Charter after having earlier disposed of Carl Richard, and so these are our 4 participants: Smith, Welu, Joseph, and Schrader. I know you want to meet them and greet them here at Northland Bowl. And the first gentleman is from Lansing, Michigan, Mr. Joe Joseph. Joe, this is a good place to bowl, right? St. Louis?
It sure is. It has been so far, Jack.
Good luck to you.
Thank you.
You all right?
Are you all right?
Yeah, fine. Here's a fella from Buffalo, New York, Jim Schroeder. Jim, that big payday will come in handy, right?
Sure will.
You're going to have to stand by, however, and watch this first match, so just relax, enjoy yourself, and have a good day.
All right, do that.
Jim Schroeder is our second semifinalist. And now let's meet a fellow who's from St. Louis by way of Houston, and he'll be in our first match this afternoon, Billy Welu. Bill, you've got a lot of friends here in this area.
Well, thank you very much, Jack. I'm just happy to be here. That last round really helped.
And your opponent is a tough one.
Come a long way to bowl my doubles partner, so we can keep it amongst the team anyway.
He's talking about another St. Louis and Harry Smith. Harry, you want to come out here? Harry, by the way, won the qualifying trophy, and to present the trophy, I'd like to call on the general manager of Northland Bowl, a fine bowler in his own right, Don McLaren.
a real pleasure to present this trophy to Harry Smith, great bowler. And I can't thank you too much for the fine scores you bowled, Harry. This is number 6 qualifying for this man. How about that? How about a real hand for Harry?
And Harry bowled a 225 average, by the way. A gentleman, a young man, 18 years old, who's also from St. Louis, really took this place by storm. He ends up as the alternate for this particular match, and he did some terrific bowling. I'd like to call on Gene Kessler, our alternate for this match. Gene, welcome. An up-and-coming bowler, and you're going to be hearing a lot from him. Well, St. Louis boasts of a good many fine bowlers, and one of the many we brag about here is Mr. Dick Weber. Let's bring Dick Weber into our scene right now. Dick, good to see you.
Nice to see you.
And now representing the Bowling Writers of America, Mr. Dick Denny. Dick?
Dick, on behalf of the Bowling Writers Association of America, it's a great pleasure to present you this 1960-61 Bowler of the Year trophy. You certainly deserved it, Dick.
Bowler of the Year, Dick Weber. Dick, good to see you. Congratulations.
Thank you, Pat.
Okay, now the stage is set, and we'll be right back with the first exciting semifinal match on Professional Bowlers Tour. Now, one moment for a message from Muriel Cigars.
There's the Muriel Corona, a premium cigar.
Long for luxury, light for pleasure.
The brand new Muriel Corona. Take it from Edie Adams.
The Muriel Corona is a fine cigar. The shape is new, the blend is too. It's richer by far. You get the light touch with the right taste for only a dime. Why don't you pick one up and smoke it sometime?
Enjoy the new Muriel Corona. Truly a premium cigar.
Long for luxury, light for pleasure.
A classic Corona style.
You get the light touch with the right taste for only a dime. Why don't you pick one up and smoke it sometime?
Ladies and gentlemen, we move in on the two stars who will be in the first semifinal. On the left, Billy Welu, and on the right, smaller of the two, this is Harry Smith. Two fine bowlers, tops among the greatest. And right here at the Lakeland Bowl in Jennings, Missouri, the largest crowd that we have had on the PBA Tour. Just tremendous. Standing room crowd, folks trying to get through the front door to see these four men go for the top prize of $5,000. This is Harry Smith's practice ball on 17, and it was perfect. Now here's Billy Welu, tallest of the professional bowlers at 6 feet 4.5. He's on 18, a practice shot. Each bowler in these semifinals gets a practice shot on both 17 and 18. These are the center lanes here at the Lakeland Bowl in Jennings, Missouri. They appear to be in tip-top condition, ready to go for these boys who have, over the past 2 or 3 days, bowled some phenomenal scores. This is Harry Smith. Harry, for the 6th time, was a leading qualifier. Average of 225, breaking Don Carter's record by 9 pins. And now here is Billy Welu, who had rolled a 759 series this morning in downing Jack Henry. And that's just the way he did it, by putting together a lot of strikes. Games of 223, 258, and 278. They shake hands in Jack Buck right here near the heart of St. Louis. We're ready to go for the first semifinal.
Quite ironic that these two would draw one another for partners. Harry Smith is going to lead off. And remember, they're shooting for $5,000 first prize in this $25,000 tournament. Smith led the qualifiers with a 225-plus average for 25 games.
Harry Smith now is on 17. This is the first stroke of the show, and it's high.
It looked for a moment like he was going to have the 4-6-7, and look at that wry grin sneak across the face of a fellow who doesn't very often smile when he's in competition, Chris, but he'll settle for that. He'll settle for a 9 count here in this first frame.
As a matter of fact, Jack, that very thing may loosen him up and allow him to go on to greater heights. Harry Smith of St. Louis, 32-year-older, one of the great bowlers of all time. Marks for the spare in the first frame.
Well, Harry Smith has started with a spare. Billy Welu will be on 18. And so very, very often we've seen these matches decided in the first few frames when someone starts off with a strike and comes back with a double, and oftentimes that is held up for the entire game.
Welu on 18.
Fine hit, but a 4-pin. He might have been just a bit high. Welu thought he was going to get it. You could tell from his actions at the foul line. So the best he can do is match his opponent, Harry Smith, here in the first frame.
Other than Don Carter, who did not get down to the final 4, but finished high in the tournament, Don finished 8th. Billy Welu is in his 4th appearance on our Professional Bowler Tour telecast. Harry Smith is in his 6th. And Welu matches the spare, recorded by Harry Smith. And things are all even here, Jack.
I remember the last time Billy Welu was with us, Chris, he missed that 10-pin on a spare and lost a chance to win that $5,000. And, of course, he won't be thinking about that until he's confronted with a 10-pin. Now he's working on a spare on 17 in the second frame. First match.
Billy has yet to win a semifinal in 3 previous appearances. Maybe he'll get started here. He does.
He was really winding up at the foul line. As that one got in there, the ball was growing very, very nicely for him. A rather thin hit. That is, it wasn't pounding into the pocket, but it carried very quickly and neatly for him. There's the first strike of the match, and 20 in the first frame for Welu, and now Harry Smith.
And he is on 18. His first shot here. He likes it.
And so they're exactly even, a spare and a strike for each, and Harry moves over for his third frame on 17.
On the right, you see Jim Schroeder, and behind Harry Smith, his opponent, Joe Joseph. As we look at the score, it's all even. This is Harry Smith working on a strike in the second frame while Billy Welu relaxes. Bob Crawford and Tom Hennessy in the background there. He'll be on the round table. Let's see if he can double.
Oh, everything sailed past that 7-pin over there, and Smitty didn't get his double. Last time these two were involved in the semifinals was a couple of weeks ago in San Antonio, Chris. And Welu was defeated by Dick Agee, and Harry Smith was defeated by Don Bickford, and Bickford went on to win the match by 3 pins.
This being the home of many of the bowlers, St. Louis, there are a lot of wives, such as Mrs. Harry Smith, young lady right there, mother of 4 children, rooting her husband on as he goes for the 7-pin and covers it.
Now let's see what Billy Welu can do about that strike he has working for him in the second frame. By the way, the gentleman seated next to Mrs. Smith is John Archibald, one of the fine bowling writers in the country, and writer for the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. We had quite a few press representatives here today.
Billy Welu. Boy, he was hoping at the line, Jack.
I tell you, he jumped up in the air as soon as he let that one go because he knew that was going to be right where he wanted it. And that's the first double of the match, and he goes out in front by 10 pins over his opponent and teammate and doubles partner, Harry Smith.
Billy Welu was in the first semifinal on our second stop in Puerto Rico, losing to Dick Weber, semifinalist in Memphis, losing to Glenn Allison, semifinalist in San Antonio, losing, as Jack told you, to Dick Agee. And he has yet to bowl over 200 here on the telecast, and he would like to do it right here in St. Louis. Got another one.
That 8-10 went down rather late. By the way, quite a few of the bowlers have been bothered with 8-10s during this particular tournament. It's prevented them from stringing those strikes together. And you could see the 8-10 just topple off the rear of the lane at the last instant to give Billy Welu that 3-bagger and put the pressure on Harry Smith, who's down by some 20 pins.
He comes back.
How about that for a crumbler, huh? That was a real bomb, and there is his second strike of the match. He is yet to get his double, and he'll be looking for that right here. As you see, Billy Welu, 20 in the first frame with a 3-bagger. Harry Smith, 60 through the third frame, looking for a double here in the fifth.
Harry is the #2 money earner on the PBA Tour with $11,900.